Why are they called newspapers? The story behind the name. Newspaper. You'd said that word 1,000 times. Held one. Skimmed one. Maybe used one to wrap something in the kitchen. But you never once stopped at the word itself. Here's what nobody told you. The word newspaper was younger than the newspaper itself. For 60 years. The thing existed with no name at all. And the story of how it got one started with a tired man, a printing press, and a war over who controlled the truth. Let's get into it, right here on Simple History of Things for you. The story didn't begin in a newsroom. It didn't begin in England. It began in the Holy Roman Empire, 1605, in the cluttered office of a postmaster named Johann Carolus. His job was simple. Collect handwritten news bulletins from correspondents across Europe, and copy them out by hand, for wealthy subscribers, politicians, merchants, nobles, people who needed to know what was happening in distant cities, before anyone else did. But the letters kept coming, faster than his hand could move. So one morning, he did something nobody had done before. He walked to the local printing press, and printed them instead. No grand vision, no master plan, just a tired man, solving a small problem. He called his publication, Relation aller Firmen und Gedenkwürdigen Historien. A name so long, almost nobody used it. But what it contained was revolutionary. Printed, regular, dated, distributed. Historians would later recognize it as the world's first newspaper, named after nothing, defining everything. The idea spread fast. Within decades, printed news sheets were appearing across Europe. Amsterdam, Paris, London. Each city had its own version. Each publisher invented their own name for it. Courantos, gazettes, Mercuries, intelligencers. Because here's the thing. The word newspaper didn't exist yet. That's how new it was. Nothing like it had ever existed before. Then in 1641, the English Civil War began. And overnight, information stopped being useful. It became dangerous. Parliament and the Crown understood the same thing. At the same moment, whoever controlled the printed news controlled the story. Presses were shut down. Publishers were arrested. And in response, underground sheets multiplied, faster than they could be suppressed. Hidden presses. Anonymous authors. Pamphlets slipped under doors. In the dark. A war fought not just with swords and armies, but with ink and paper. And right in the middle of that chaos, the word newspaper quietly appeared. 1670. An English legal document. Used it almost casually, as if it had always existed. It hadn't. But the thing it described had already changed the world. Then came the coffee houses. And this was the detail most people walked straight past. In 17th century England, a coffee house was not just a place to drink coffee. It was the internet of its age. You paid a penny to enter. And inside, newspapers from across the country lay on every table. Free to read. Free to discuss. Free to argue over. Merchants tracked trade routes. Politicians monitored rivals. Writers gathered material. Lloyd's of London, one of the world's most powerful insurance markets today, began as a coffee house, where shipping news was read aloud from printed sheets. A global financial institution, born in a room full of newspapers and coffee cups. The newspaper wasn't just reporting the world. It was building it. Creating the shared information layer that made modern commerce, politics, and society possible. Without the newspaper, there was no stock market as you knew it. No modern democracy as you practiced it. No shared public conversation. At all. And then, you lived through the moment it almost disappeared. The internet arrived. Classified ads moved online. Circulation collapsed. Newsrooms that once employed hundreds became skeleton crews. Entire cities lost their local papers. And with them, something quieter was lost too. The shared moment. The same front page. The same story. The same photograph. Sitting on a million different doorsteps. At the same time. Creating, for one brief daily moment, a common version of reality. That became harder to find. And its absence was something most people felt, without being able to name what was missing. So what did a single word teach you? Lesson 1. Naming something gave it power. For 60 years, printed news existed without a name. The moment it got one, it got an identity, an industry, a legal status. Words didn't just describe things. They made things real. Lesson 2. Information had always been a battlefield. Every era that produced a free press produced forces trying to shut it down. Only the technology changed. The struggle stayed exactly the same. Lesson 3. Ordinary people rewrote history. By solving small problems. Carolus wasn't a visionary. He was tired. And that tiredness? Changed everything. Lesson 4. The infrastructure of shared reality was invisible. Until it broke. And by the time you noticed it breaking, it was already half gone. Lesson 5. The need to know what happened today was older than writing itself. The newspaper didn't create that need. It just gave it a name. And a delivery schedule. That need never went away. It never will. Somewhere in an archive right now, a copy of the world's first newspaper sits in a temperature-controlled room. Printed by a man who just wanted to save time. Who had no idea he was building something that would carry every war, every discovery, every scandal, every triumph of the next 4 centuries. On nothing but paper and ink. And the very human need to know what happened today. What everyday word or object should we investigate next? Tell us in the comments. Pick the right one. And we'll shout you out on the channel. If history just got a little more fascinating for you, hit like. Hit subscribe. Because somewhere right now, there's another simple thing sitting in plain sight, with a story nobody's told yet. We'll find it. This is simple history of things for you. Making you smarter, one small object at a time.